All right. It looks like we are live. Welcome, everybody, to this week's Wellness Wednesday. You might notice that I look a little different than Isan. In the same background, we still have the MBK logo behind us, but I'm filling in for Isan this week. I am Lori Smith, and I will be your moderator for today. We have an exciting panel today, and we're talking about a very interesting subject. As some of you know, if you've been on these Wellness Wednesdays, we talk about different topics every week that have to do with mental health and wellness. And so this week we are talking about organizing. If you notice the title, Got Chaos. So we're talking about organizing our households. And some of you might be thinking, well, what does this have to do with mental health? Why are we talking about organizing our houses on a show about mental health and wellness? So we're going to touch on that in just a moment. I first want each of the panelists to just give us your name and the name of your business. And we're going to start with Alana.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Alana Joyner Stevens, and I am the owner of Clean Homes and Organized Spaces, aka Chaos.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Natalie, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Natalie Courtney, and I am the owner of An Organized Life.
All right, thank you. Welcome. Welcome. Nasaya.
Hi, Nasaya Henderson. I'm the owner of Mitchie Cleaning.
All right, thank you. Welcome. Lavender.
Yeah, hi, my name is Lavender, and I'm owner of Lavender Organizes.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Shay.
Hi, good evening. My name is Shay Robinson. I'm the owner operator of Shay and Domestic Divas.
All right. All right, and then last but not least, Garen.
How you doing? My name is Garen Harris, and I am the owner of Harrison Washington.
All right, thank you. And for everybody watching, Garen is multitasking right now, so we just want to give it up for you. Garen is on the job and Zooming at the same time. So that is why you don't see his face right now, but we will definitely look forward to hearing from him tonight. So thank you, Garen.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. So also to the audience, I just want to also say, if you're watching on Facebook Live, please feel free to jump in the comments, post any questions that you may have, anything that you want to discuss on the panel. We'll try to get to those if we're able to. And look, we just wanted to have a relaxed kind of conversation between us today. I also do want to say, if anyone watching is saying, well, this is about organizing, and I see a bunch of women up there only because we can't see you, Garen. And so some men might be thinking this is not a conversation for them. No, men, this is for you too. This is for men, women, children, anybody who lives in a home. Okay. So I want to just jump right into the first topic that I touched on earlier, which is, what does home organizing have to do with mental health? What's the connection there? Why are we even talking about that on this show right now? And I want to direct that first to Alana, as I know Alana is also studying in the mental health field. And so I just want to shoot that to you first.
Thank you, thank you. So one of the things that I've known within my own life is just that when my household is in disarray, that pretty much is a direct correlation with what I'm thinking or what's going on internally. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that I do tell my customers, or my clients rather, just, if you have a lot going on, it's going to show up in your everyday life. It's going to show up in your room. It's going to show up in your car. It's going to show up on your desk. It's going to show up in your kitchen. And so I think that it has a lot to do with just really, not having things balanced. And it's because we have a lot going on. We're in the middle of a pandemic right now. And so, and then like we were just even saying, like a lot of ladies and fathers pretty much have some household duties to do with their children. And so we're multitasking life. And then we don't necessarily have time to do everything and to keep up with everything that's going on. So guess what? I might just throw this here, and the next thing you know, this one piece becomes a pile of something. So
yes, absolutely. I think a lot of us can probably relate to that. I think we all got our piles here and there. Anyone else want to jump in on that? Do you have thoughts to contribute on how your home, your actual physical space of home, how that can contribute to somebody's mental health well-being, whether to the positive or the negative? And to answer this, I mean, you don't have to be a mental health professional, right, to see that this affects you. This can affect you, your well-being.
I'd like to jump in. I've had clients that I've worked with that, you know, I'm getting their entrance space ready, because you don't want to walk into a home that's very cluttered, because you're going to immediately be stressed. And then unfortunately, you know, possibly take it out on family members, kids, because not only are you walking into a cluttered home, you also have your everyday chores to do, you know, dishes, dinner, that kind of stuff, bedtime. So, you know, everything gets in order as soon as you walk in the door, and then routines. And it really does make a difference with how you start and end your day.
And I wanted to say something. So like the brain likes organizing. So the brain is made organized, to tell you the truth. And so when you walk into a home and there's mail and there's clothes everywhere, the brain doesn't know how to function. You know, like it's literally confused. So it makes you panicky, you get anxious. So when you do that on a daily basis, that's not healthy. And before I became an organizer, I was actually a nanny. And when I wasn't nannying, I was babysitting. And so different homes, I noticed kids acted differently depending on how the home looked. So when I went into homes where there was a lot going on, like a lot of chaos, it was just very cluttered, you know, the parents would say, oh my gosh, you know, they're just hyper and, you know, they're just tired, you know. So, but as soon as the parents would leave, I would say, okay, it's time to pick up. Let's pick up kids. So we'll pick up, and then the mood just changes. They're calmer, you know, it just changes the whole environment. I mean, so it's like, and even when you organize, once you finish, the room feels lighter, you know, you can breathe better. So it definitely affects mental health. I'm really happy to be talking about this right now.
Wow. I really appreciate what you just brought up about that effect on the children, especially as right now, a lot of children are actually schooling at home. And so I feel like you really brought up that connection to, you know, okay, here they are schooling at home, which is already different for most of them, already something that kids are trying to adjust to, parents are trying to adjust to. And not a lot of people might think about how the home environment might affect that schooling situation. And so I would love to hear anybody who can speak on that as far as organizing in a time of coronavirus, right? So we kind of jump right into that, into a time when people are at home more than ever. A lot of people are working from home and doing school from home and trying to figure out, how do I all of a sudden fit this all into my home space? How do I make my home a home still, a classroom, and a workspace? So what are some tips that you can give some people who are in that situation, as this is something common to a lot of us right now?
I can actually speak to that. So what I had to do in my household is, I have 3 children, you know, one's 14, I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, and all of them are doing virtual learning as of right now. So we literally had to turn the dining room into a classroom. Like, they have a setup, they have their laptop, they have their headphones, everything literally has to be organized. It says this says Ian's books, this is Clarence's books, this is Kayla's books, says.
Oh, we lost your sound, Garen. Can you check your mic? Looks like you are on mute. Oh, Well, Garen may have gotten interrupted for a moment, so I hope he can hold that thought for us, because it's right there. Oh, are you back on, Garen?
Yeah, you can't hear me?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
you cut out. We couldn't hear you for a moment. Can you try to restart that thought a little bit?
Well, basically, I was just getting at that. Like I said, I had to get like the knickknacks that they needed for schooling and put it all in a place where it's visual for them to, just comprehend this as a school environment. Like I said, from the dry erase boards to the chalkboard to everything being highlighted with their name on it. That's their schoolwork. These are your books. These are your crayons. These are your markers. It's like we're talking about organization, and those little small minute details are needed, especially for children, because this transition has been quirky at best. If that makes any sense. Like it hasn't really been a smooth transition. It's been maybe they'll go to school for a couple of days, maybe they won't. So, like I said, I had to go out and go into my finances and purchase these things, because if not, they would just get comfortable being home. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to make that environment for the children, at least for like a learner atmosphere. So it's like the alphabet on the wall, it's globes, it's maps, it's all that like in my dining room now. So my dining room literally is the classroom. Like I when we're in there, like I said, you have to be zoned into schooling, because if not, the distraction of the TV, the distraction of the cell phone, the distraction of all the knickknacks in the world can throw them off just by the drop of a dime.
Right, right. Wow. That's
And oh,
mhm.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Oh,
you off.
go ahead, Lavender, please.
No, I think I've done 5 different homes this month with organizing area for kids. So it's either parents need help with organizing like their office space or a learning place for kids. And so, I like this whole idea of everyone having their own spot. Like men have man caves, women, I don't know, we like our jewelry space or something. I don't know. There should be a safe haven everywhere for everyone, for you, your husband, for the kids, even if it's just a desk. So a lot of these houses, what I did for the kids was, IKEA sells individual desks, so you write their names on it, their own trash can, write their names on it, make it into a full classroom. That alone calms the kids down, and I try to keep in touch with my clients to see how, they're doing and how the kids are doing. And they all tell me positive things like, they're actually downstairs a bit more, they're a bit more calmer. So, I mean, it's correct. Garen, he did good. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Thank you.
Can I add to that too? This is not Shay. Also, what I did for my daughter is I got her out of her room. So at first it's easier because I don't want the papers all over the place in my living room, and but I found the corner and I put her in just like one corner in the living room because I don't want her in her room. I feel like your room is for sleeping, and it's so easy to lounge around and just to lay in the bed, and so I got her out of her room into a separate area of the house so that she could feel like, okay, I get up and get out my room, not out the house, but out the room, and I go to, my station.
That's great. I love that. I love that. Those are all some really, really great tips. With that, so I am not personally in that situation where I have kids but I'm imagining that as a parent, you could feel like, wow, I'm going to go crazy right now because my home is now overtaken. Like Garen, you just said that your dining room is like the schoolhouse now, right? The school classroom. So, I would like some of you to speak on, how can parents still have like their sense of home and their sense of a peaceful place in the midst of all of that. I don't know if Shay, you could speak to that. I know I would love to hear from you.
Sorry, I was trying to find a mute.
No problem.
I give tips on telling the parents to buy like an ottoman, for instance. So like if they want their living room space, they can have an ottoman and just store the books inside the ottoman, so it'll still give you that living room feel. because like Anissa said, they may not want them in the bedroom. So, you know, if they're in the living room or the dining room, first of all, I commend you, Garen, because I will go crazy having all this stuff in my dining room. But, you know, just storing stuff away and just give it that feel where you can still feel like you're at home versus at school or work. I know for my kids, I have crates, and with the desk, how the desk is made, I just store everything underneath the desk. I put everything in a crate and store it underneath, because out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to see it. Like, once school is over, school is over. So.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to speak on that?
Yeah, I'd like to add. I know in my area, it's desks are nowhere to be found. I mean, all the desks are sold out everywhere. Everybody was trying to make their own little, you know, their area for the kids. A lot of times I've recommended getting a large, long shelf for the wall. So you have, the kids can put their laptop or whatever type of computer, books right there, and there's nothing on the floor, there's nothing on the tables for the kitchen, dining room, etc. And a lot of people are buying those IKEA or Michael's carts, the 3-tiered carts, and then they can put all their books, all their, you know, supplies there right away, and they're out of the way. They can push them right underneath the shelf, and there's their little area. And I mean, you know, a shelf can cost maybe like $15, $20, you know, so they're making, and then you can use the shelf later. You can use it for decorative space. But for me personally, I have 3 teenagers. I have 2 seniors and a junior. So they are all set up in their room. So luckily it's very quiet at school time. They're all in their rooms on their computers. So, I mean, they each have their own little setup. One likes to be on the bed. One has a desk, and the other one just kind of moves throughout wherever she's most comfortable. But yeah, there's definitely different scenarios and budget, you know. A lot of people went crazy in trying to make a whole, you know, setup for their kids when they really didn't need that much. You just need, you know, a spot to just be able to focus.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm again kind of putting myself in that mind frame of someone who's in that position in their home, and I'm imagining that some people may be listening now, or whether they listen later, and they're like, "All that sounds great. Wow, you guys are giving some great ideas, some great tips." But I'm overwhelmed. I'm already overwhelmed with, you know, just trying to do my job at home. I'm overwhelmed because while I'm trying to do my job, my kids are like, "I need help with this thing on the computer that I can't figure out." And, you know, all these different pieces I'm trying to put together. And I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have time to like figure out creative things to do in my home. I don't have time I mean, I don't even have time to wash the pile of laundry that's piling up in the corner. So I would love to hear now from each of you, for that person, what is it that you particularly offer? What can you help that person with? What services do you offer? So I'll just start again, kind of going around the same order as we did, introducing ourselves. So Alana, would love to hear what your business offers.
So professional organizer, and what I usually tell everyone is that you can't organize a mess. So we always start with decluttering. And so decluttering is pretty much getting rid of, you know, things that no longer serve you any purpose in your home. And then after all of that is removed from the household, then you are now able to organize what remains. And so I have a lot of customers who might want to buy things beforehand. So before our session, they'll say, "Oh, well, do I need to buy some totes? Do I need to buy this? Do I need to buy that?" And so what I tell them, let's relax. We're not necessarily going to go on product first, because if we are getting a whole bunch of bins, that just means we're just hiding the stuff. And I know that, you know, sometimes we're just used to shuffling things from one side of the room to another. I know I'm guilty of it, have been guilty of it. And then I would say, "Oh, this looks really good." And it just went from that side to that side. So, you know, one of the things we just want to make sure that we're not just trying to contain, but we really are trying to declutter. And then after that point, finding the products that'll actually help within the home, and just making sure that you have it. So there's this such thing as downsizing. And so, you know, and when we talk about mental health, you know, we kind of talk about the language of certain things. And so while the thing may be that, we don't want to call it that because it kind of has a negative connotation. So when you think about downsizing, sometimes you think about, oh my God, I have to get rid of this. And, you know, for some people, it's really challenging to let go of a lot of things. It could be a purse, it could be a cup, it could be a lot of things. And there's different levels to disorganization, you know, so it just really depends on the person. But, you know, just kind of, you know, so like I said, back to the point about downsizing, I did a training and they kind of mentioned that there, you can call it now sizing. So that just pretty much means that you are pretty much allowing your space to be what it is now. So you're not, you know, just moving from a 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom apartment. You're not downsizing, you are just now sizing, you know, for where your life is now. So it just kind of gives you a better, you know, feeling about it. It doesn't feel so overwhelming. It just feels like, you know what, I'm at a different place in my life. And so I think that I want to do this. So again, you know, starting with decluttering, then going from organization, I'm going to organization, and then just helping clients with systems that they can actually maintain. Because when you are used to just kind of throwing everything everywhere and the place doesn't have a home, it's really easy to kind of have things pile up. But if you know, when I go into the refrigerator, you know, the milk goes on that side, or the, you know, beverages go on this side and the fruits go on that side, or, you know, when you're on your desk, the paper goes here, the books go there. You know, when you're in your room, my sneakers go there, my shoes go there, pants go this way, you know, my professional outfits that way. So when you pretty much have a system, it's much easier to maintain. So labels are basically one of the best things that, you know, could ever be used when it comes to organizing, because again, you just look at it, you don't have to think about it, and there you go.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. I really love that. Now sizing. I'm gonna start using that. Thank you, Alana. Natalie, what are the services you offer?
Hello. I'm a professional organizer as well, and piggybacking on Alana's stuff. I mean, we definitely would need to walk through and see what there is to declutter, take out trash, you know, donations, anything like that. Coming up with zones. Definitely, you want kids especially to know where things are going to go. I do like to see if we can reuse something in your home before buying something else, because a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, in my attic, I have a few bins. All right, let's see what we can do with that instead of buying more and bringing more in. But yeah, I mean, pretty much setting zones. I love setting them up, whether, you know, I like to have the kids involved as well if they want to make their own little labels and we can laminate them so they don't get damaged. Or for younger kids, you know, make the labels with a picture so that they're aware of what's going in there, you know, toy trucks, Barbies, that kind of stuff. Also, you know, setting up routines. I'm big on routines, you know, this time, I'm a big calendar list person. There are plenty of apps and stuff like that for parents to set up a meal prep, set up, you know, a to-do, dinner time, and any list your heart desires. But yeah, definitely zones and systems for kids are super, super important. The routine structure, kids really, really need that.
That's great. Thank you. I love it. So many good, great things that y'all offer. Lavender, what does your company do?
Yeah, so I'm a professional organizer. And so, you know, I do a lot of what the other girls said. You know, I come in and then I sort, purge, and then keep, or, you know, donate and things like that. And so then I just try to talk my clients into living in this moment. You know, a lot of times I see, this is a really nice chinaware that my great grandmother gave to me, you know, and it's like a little plate cover for your butter, you know? And so it's just there catching dust. I'm like, why not use it, you know? So, I mean, I feel like you know, we're living now. So I would never really understand why people just hold on to things and not using it. So sometimes just coming in there and being like, no, you're live now. We need to use this now. You know, they're like, oh my goodness, you know, it's just a whole breakthrough. As simple as that. And then also, like, I like to tell my clients, like, when you buy things, give one thing away. You know, for example, I know that with me personally, when I buy 4 pieces of shirts, I'll give 4 pieces of shorts or something away. You know, like it's a cycle. You can't just keep because it will then turn into that. So then I tell them to get like a little bin, and then we label it the donation box. And so it's in each room. So the kids have one, the parents have one, and just once a month, just, watch your buying, whatever you buy, give some, then once a month, you don't donating stuff, besides the universe gives you more whenever you're always giving anyway, so we go through that. And then, that's pretty much it. I tell them that, in order for you to remain organized, we just can't keep everything, there's people in the world that need items, and we're not using them, so why not give it to them? We already have enough as it is. And a lot of times we have so much and we're still not as happy. We still want more and more, so if you haven't used an item in over 5 or 10 years, why is it there? Just give it away, so.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Garen, can you share with us what you and your wife do? As it sounds like you do, you have multiple things going on, but what your role is as far as this topic that we're talking about in home organizing, cleaning. Yeah.
Okay, so what I have a wash and fold business. So basically, while everyone is organizing and getting everything situated, I come in and I relinquish that chore, that burden, that issue that people have of washing their clothes. I wash them, I bring them back, I fold them, I bring them back to you nice and neat and tidy. So all you gotta do is put it away.
All right. That sounds wonderful. So you actually go to people's homes and pick up their wash from them?
Yes. It's
Okay.
a pick up and drop off thing.
All
So
right.
what'll happen is you'll schedule an appointment. I'll come to your house. I'll pick your clothes up that same night. I'll actually weigh your clothes because I charge 95 cents a pound. I'll let you know how much it's gonna cost.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I relinquish that, that burden of washing clothes. Everybody don't like to do it. I mean, it seems like something that people just literally just don't like to do. I have clients that let me know that what they do is instead of actually washing clothes, they'll just buy new clothes
Mm-hmm.
instead of washing it. And I learned that, like I said, with everybody working as hard as they're working, the children that are at home doing homeschooling, just the hustle and bustle of life, that
Mm-hmm.
washing clothes becomes so much more of a burden than you would think it would. Like you would think, I'm just gonna wash some clothes, but then maybe you might not have a washer and dryer in your house, so now you got to back yourself up and go to the laundromat. It just becomes a never-ending cycle. Which I relinquish that chore from you.
Yeah.
I come pick the clothes up, I wash them, I fold them. All you gotta do is put them away. That's it.
Sounds great. That sounds great.
I mean, listen, people seem to really enjoy it. From what I've dealt with in the course of this past year.
Yes, definitely. I actually think about I actually have a neighbor who does that exact thing, Gary. That she just like she'll wear her stuff till it's just all dirty, and then she will throw it all out, and then buy new stuff. And I don't know. That's what she does, and I think about how helpful that would be to her. Just to have somebody do that for her, how much money that would save, even when you compare the costs. I'm imagining the cost of somebody cleaning her clothes versus her constantly buying new stuff.
Right, exactly. It will relinquish whatever the financial burden it is to maybe whatever she shops at. Who knows whatever brand she buys, but just think about just that little bit of time that she will get back. That monetary she will get back. So like I said, it's about easing your mind, easing your pockets, and giving you more time to do whatever you like to do.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Thank you, Garen.
And I wanted to add something else. Like a lot of clients, I do refer them to the wash and fold. I mean, I love people who do that. It's an amazing idea. But then the issue is coming back, and then the clothes are still in the bag. And then I noticed that as an organizer, we're the ones taking it and actually, putting it inside. So then I tried to tell them, it's like taking a shower. You take a shower every day, so everything has a spot. So if you have to put 5 shirts in the drawer, you know, you have to do something consistently every day. You know, don't just leave it there because it adds more. So, I mean, I'm sure that's not the only issue that I have. I'm sure that happens to a lot of professional organizers, but, you know, you'll see 2 or 3 weeks of clean laundry just sitting in the bags, you know, and so.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm just thinking about, as you're saying that, Lavender, I'm thinking about people, you know, tying this back into even the mental health aspect. When people are going through like actual depression and literally don't even feel like they have enough strength to, I mean, just barely get out of bed, right? So let alone clean, you know, the stuff around them, which is then further adding to the depression that they're feeling because everything is cluttered around them. Their clothes are dirty. You know, they don't feel like they even have enough energy to take the clothes out of the bag, right? You know, as someone who I myself went through a season of experiencing depression, and I never would have understood it if I didn't go through it. The fact that you can literally feel like I can't get out of bed, and you can't even explain it to people, and so to say I do not have it in me to, you know, take the clothes out the bag and put it in the drawer. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's so simple. You know, it's a simple thing. But someone who's going through some intense mental health things could really literally not have the capability in that moment. And I just think of how helpful, you know, it could be to have some services like this in this time, just some support. Like I just, for this season, need some extra outside support to get me through this time and to help me to at least have my space clean and clutter free, to also then help my well-being, you know, my internal well-being. Yeah, I just think that would be so helpful. So I love that we want to put you all out there as a resource for some people who that might be your scenario right now, or maybe a season, or you may know somebody who could really just use a little bit of help right now. Maybe that's a way that you want to gift a friend. Maybe you want to say, you know what, the way I want to support a friend is, you know what, I'm gonna call up Lavender Organizers, and I'm gonna hire her for my friend to help her out. That's
Yes.
gonna be my
It
gift
happens
to her.
for holidays, Christmas, New Year gifts, Thanksgiving.
That's great.
And we get a lot of gifting, you know,
That's great.
gifting to another friend. Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah, listen, that's a gift I would love. You know, one of my friends was like, hey, I hired somebody to come clean for you. What? I would love that. I would love that. So moving on to Shay, what do you have to offer to people who are looking for some help with some cleaning, some organizing, getting their space in order?
I'm Shay, and I offer cleaning services, and I also do minor organizing. When I come in and do the deep clean, I just try to encourage the families to do like a daily routine, Monday through Friday, just, you know, pick a room for each day and try to tackle their room. When things are like downstairs, I do tell clients to just get some baskets. Whoever's in the household, like it could be you, your husband, the children, put the baskets on the steps, the things that belong upstairs, just so you can do a quick tidy up. Put the stuff in a basket, and then at the end of the night, take whatever's in the basket, take it upstairs where it belongs. I just feel like your upstairs don't belong downstairs. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
You know, just staying on top of things with the quick daily routines. If you're taking a shower, just try to spray your shower down, because I know everybody can't clean the bathroom every day, but just spray it down and do like quick tackles, so that way it won't be so much on you day by day.
But what I'm hearing you say is that for those who, you know, for whatever reason haven't kept up with it, you are there to step in and say, you know what, I'll come in and take care of this for you.
Right, we'll take care of it the one good time. And then I do have clients who may say, oh, I think I need you bi-weekly, because, you know, they busy, you know, they're homeschooling, they working from home, so I get it. But I try to encourage them to do it in between time, because people can become really lazy, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
right. Well, I love that. I love that, because you're offering a service, but you're also trying to empower them. right?
Right.
To do something to really keep their own space together. I like that. Thank you.
Can I just add really quickly, because I follow everybody on here, but Shay, that woman, you know, her and her team, they clean a good oven, okay? So, you know, so I think that the services that Shay and oh my God, why do I keep saying it? Nasaya.
Yes, Nasaya,
Here
yes.
we go, Nasaya. So Shay and Nasaya, you know, just really going through and just kind of saying, listen, like, you know, this is what you need to do. Like, I like the whole shower thing. You know, some people don't really know that you probably should spray the shower down and really do something with the upkeep every day. And even your oven, like, you'd be surprised, you know, how many times you just use your oven every day and you don't give it the same love that you give your body. So I think that that's really good. I think it's good.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. So Alana led right over to Nasaya. So Nasaya, tell us more about what you offer.
So I offer the same services pretty much as Shay. Cleaning services, residential and commercial. I do pretty much the equal amount of residential and commercial cleanings. And I do deep clean of homes, and I do have like 50% of my clients for residential, they want me to come every week or every 2 weeks. What I notice is like some of my clients or a lot of my clients, they don't like to wash dishes. So I tell them like, just buy paper plates, paper spoons, forks, cups, like they're disposable. I know I have them in my house. I use paper products. Nobody likes to wash dishes. So I just tell them that. I do like organizing. Most of the stuff I do is like the seasons change. So I know I pack clients' clothes up that save space in your room, your closet. So between the seasons changing, between summertime, all my summer clothes is packed up. Bring the fall winter clothes out. That's an easy way to save space, time. Same for your shoes. Put the sandals up in bins and just rotate them. And that's a lot what I do. Carpet cleaning, you know, just offering cleaning services.
All right, great. So it sounds like you do a little bit of a combination of the cleaning, but it sounds like you also do some organizing as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Man, look, I'm thinking about like the ultimate best gift ever would be to be like, I'm hiring I'm getting each of these services all together, right? Like, I'm thinking of mothers who have recently given birth, you know, for example. How amazing would that be for a group of their friends to say, you know what, we're going to pitch in together. We're going to have a cleaner come, an organizer come, and Garen and Annette come and pick up the clothes to get washed. And we're going to actually take mom out the house for a minute, have all that done. She'll come home to everything just in order. I think that would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. Garen, it's good to see your face on here. All right. So with that, I want to kind of segue even into that. We've touched a little bit on who could benefit from these services, right? But is there anyone else that y'all can think of specific, like, you know, who could benefit from this? Obviously, I think anyone would enjoy it. But are there any like specific people, specific situations that you feel like would particularly benefit from your services?
I do. Elderly clients, I feel like they benefit from my services tremendously, or all of our services tremendously. Just keeping I know a lot of times they can't bend over to get the shower the right way, so they're showering in a dirty shower often, or walking on a dirty floor often, or, you know, and that leads to health issues and health concerns. You know, their homes are not being cleaned properly because they just simply can't do it. So I think elderly clients are a big target for all of our services.
That's great.
With the pandemic going on, I know that a lot of doctors and nurses have been calling as well, because they're unable to, you know, manage their home because they've been in the hospital for a lot of hours.
That's great. I wouldn't have even thought of that, but it makes total sense. When do our doctors and nurses have time to take care of that, right? Yeah, thank you. Natalie, I feel like you were about to jump in with something on that.
I mean, we're still virtual over here, but I was gonna market to teachers, you know, to help them set up with either their virtual classroom or their in the building classroom to kind of get them help set up.
That's great. That's great. Thank you.
And I find for me, I've been getting a lot of just professional women who, you know, are busy working and they have families, but they don't really have the time to kind of stop and focus on a specific thing, you know, because they're working, you know, extra hours, or just, you know, by the time they come home, they really just don't have the energy. The last, I actually just did a client the other day, and she is getting married next week. And so her and her fiance moved into this residence, and it's just like, listen, I work all the time. I just don't have the time nor the energy. Like, I walk into it and I'm just overwhelmed, you know? So I think that just, you know, anybody can benefit from it, but I definitely think that, you know, one, you know, people have to see that they need the help. You know, because a lot of times what I notice is a lot of people say, oh, well, I could do that myself. And just to be candid and transparent, I struggle with, you know, how valid is my business, because people can actually do it. But what I will say, you know, big ups to Lavender, she reminded me that, you know, first and foremost, everybody does not have that skill, and everybody's not as good, you know, in doing it. And so once I realized that, you know, I gained the confidence to realize that, yeah, I know I can do it, and I think other people can do it, but this is a very, very needed profession, you know, for a lot of people. And then when I saw the look on I wish I could have recorded it beforehand, just the candid look on their face when they were able to go in their room that had been, you know, filled with so many things. And it wasn't dirty. It just was, you know, life happened, you know, and they were just so excited. And the joy that I felt inside from knowing that I, you know, contributed to their happiness was just amazing, you know. So I think that, you know, people have to realize that, again, it's an investment. You know, people will buy tickets to Beyonce concert that cost a lot of money, much more than these services, you know. So it's just like, when you're looking at this, it's not, I don't even think to an extent, our services can be considered luxury to an extent, but to somebody that has severe mental health, or not even severe mental health, because that's like schizophrenia, bipolar and stuff like that, but just somebody who has maybe anxiety and they have just a lot going on, like, this isn't a luxury, this is a necessity. You know, having somebody come over and clean my shower, just like Nasaya was saying, like that, I can't bend down there and do it, you know. And then even when it comes to organizing, like Lavender, you made a good point about, okay, well, you get the wash and fold, but then you need somebody to come inside to make sure you actually put it where it's supposed to go. So these are not luxury services for everybody. These are unnecessary, you know. So I think that anybody could benefit from it. But again, you have to believe, you know, you have to believe that you deserve to do it yourself. Like, there's this, you have to invest in yourself, you know, because it has a long-term reward. You know, and me, as I'm helping other people, you would be surprised how my own life improved by helping other people. Because as I'm going through and I'm organizing, I'm like, all right, I'm being mindful. Just like Lavender said, I'm being mindful of the stuff that I'm bringing in. You know, I'm not bringing in stuff and then not taking stuff out. So, you know, it's not just helpful for the clients I serve, but it's extremely helpful for me. I learned so much about myself in the process of organizing other people's homes. It's not even funny. Like, so I raised myself to another, you know, to another standard, because Lavender and I had a conversation before, and she just basically was saying that, you know, when you're providing services like this, you want to make sure that you're living the service that you're providing. So there's no reason that if I'm doing cleaning, or if I'm doing organizer, or if I'm doing wash and fold, that I'm coming home in my house looking a whole mess. You know, so it does cause you, or it has caused me to level up, you know, in my own life. Level up not only with my business, but leveling up with my job, you know. So, because even for me, when I talk about clean homes and organized spaces, it's not just about physical, it's about mental. Right. You know, and if I have all this stuff going on here, you better believe I can't get my notes done for my full-time job. You better believe I can't get treatment plans and documents done for that, let alone take off and then go organize somebody else's stuff, and I'm on a list at my job. I'm just saying, like, you know, I've struggled too, so I'm not performing a service that I didn't need myself.
Right. That's great. That's great.
And pregnant women. I had a client yesterday, she was pregnant, I think about almost 8 months, and like she was having anxiety because they had just moved into a home, you know, and her husband, he wasn't helping out as much. He takes care of her, but you know, some men are not really handy around the house, you know, with folding and putting things where they belong. And so she didn't want to keep on nagging him, so she contacted me, and we got so much done. And so she texted me last night. She was just like, "Thank you so much. I feel so much better. You know, the baby's kicking less. You know, not because you know I haven't been pregnant before, but she was just like, the baby was kicking up. I mean, at certain hours of the night, and due to stress. So that made me feel really, really good. And yeah, and for sure, like, you know, it's coming to the point where I might start hiring people because I'm getting so busy. And, you know, so if I do, the question is, how does your house look like? Because I feel like if you're going to be a professional organizer, you know, we have to model it, you know? And then organizing is mentally exhausting because you're thinking in your head, you know, your mind's running like miles, you know, very, very fast. And so, you know, the last thing you want to do is go to someone's house, see all that clutter, and then come back to your house and your house is looking somewhat like that, you know, or even on a smaller scale, you know, so that's a no-no. So we have to practice what we teach, take it one day at a time.
I love that. I feel like that's a whole, y'all are preaching right there, that whole topic of trying to offer people something that you yourself are not doing, right? Like we can apply that to a lot of things in our lives, right? That's great. That's really great. Nasaya, I feel like you were about to jump in.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that. I got a method. I don't leave my house. I'm gonna be late to a client. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I'm gonna be late to a client's house before I go to somebody. But if my house is dirty, I'm not gonna go to nobody's else's house and clean it. I'm just not gonna do it. So I got a thing of my house has to be clean because when I get back into my house, I want to walk into a clean house. I'm going to clean your house, deep clean your house, and I'm gonna come into a house that it just don't sit well with me. So before I leave, I always make sure that my house is clean. I don't leave my house dirty at all. I clean it before I leave. So I clean my house every day. So because I know in order to keep it organized and to keep it clean, you need to do at least one thing every day. Like Shay said, you clean one room a day, then you'll be fine. And also to add on what Alana was saying about the pricing and stuff, I've had that conversation with myself. Like, well, you know, sometimes you question your prices or you question like your services and is people going to need them and are people like your prices and stuff. And then I always sit back and I say, well, especially in today's day and age, people pay $500 for a wig. Okay. So if I'm going to pay $500 for a wig, for me, for a clean house, my sanctuary, the place that my kids live, the place that I got to use every day, the place that I want to come home to, I would have paid triple that to get my home clean. And that's not even a pricing for a home clean. But I'm just saying, you know, it's just people priorities. And sometimes in life, they're not always straight. So I feel like, you know, when you need services, when you look around, or even for me, when I walk into somebody, I have an eye for it. I think that's what Lavender was saying. You hiring people, you want them to, you know, you have to live up to it. Even when I walk into somebody's house, I could hit the front door and I got a tunnel vision. I could see everywhere in their house that needs clean. Everywhere. I'm like, okay, I know this. It's like tunnel vision. And I know how the outcome, sometimes I wow myself. I'm like, I don't know how I did that, you know, but it's like tunnel vision. Like, you know, you see everything from the front door because you just used to it. And that's the standard that I hold for my employees. I'm sure Shay can probably even, you know, she know how that is. You probably go walk it. I think me and Shay talked about that the other day. You walk into somebody's house and you like, all right, I know I need to hit this. You know, you just see it because you're so used to it. So you have an eye for it.
I love that. I love that, you know, because Alana, you talked about that earlier as well, feeling like, well, you know, people can really do this for themselves. Am I really, you know, offer? But listen, I'm hearing each of you talk and I'm like, what comes natural to each of you? It comes natural to each of you because that's your gifting. And so you're like, yeah, that's, you know, everybody can, no, everybody can't. Everybody does not walk in the house and see this, and this needs to be done. Everybody does not see that, you know. Everybody does not see that creativity of, you know, Natalie, you were sharing earlier. Yeah, you know, you just put everything on this cart and then you can just wheel it away. And it's like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that. It seems so simple, right? But it didn't enter my mind, you know? So it's like, we're paying like for not just services, but like this is your gifting that not everybody has. These are things that are special to you, that you each offer. And I love that as you're talking, I'm hearing you each passionate about what you offer. I'm hearing you each not just talk about this is a job that I do, you know, right? Like when you're talking about it, like I'm really hearing like your hearts are in this. And I love that. I love that because I think that also shines through. I'm sure that shines through your work as well. I'm also thinking, if I'm having someone in my home, this is my personal space, right? This is my private space. Not everybody just comes in my home. It makes a big difference to have one of you walk in, and I can feel that. You know, I can feel that your heart is in this. And to me, that in itself will make a big difference. The fact that I could feel like, okay, this is somebody that I can trust. Like, I mean, I just met each of you tonight and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I would have any of these people in my home. I would be comfortable having any of you in my home. I want to get to a couple other things, but I do want to jump on line where I'm getting a couple comments that I want to bring up. I want to make sure that I do just pull that up really quick. So Iris, hi Iris, if you're still on here, Iris Hines says, I agree with your panelists. I instruct students virtually during this pandemic, and in order to maximize the children's learning, I advise my students to have all their supplies in a shoebox, at their fingertips, ready to go without any distractions. As simple as it sounds, it's important to have 3 sharpened pencils since pencil points do break while working. In addition, I ask that they use the restroom, eat, and eliminate outside noises. Thank you, Iris. I appreciate that input. I also want to pull up Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Says, when your home is not clean, it is difficult to manage your life. Personally, I cannot function when my house is not in order. And I absolutely agree with that, 100%. I want to go into, we kind of touched a little bit on this idea that some people think these services are luxury. They are for people who have a lot of money, right? I think a lot of people think that. I would tell you, you know, that's kind of in my own thought process, right? Until I faced a couple situations. The first one was I have major allergies, dust, pollen, you know, as the seasons are changing, and my allergies got so bad that I was like, I don't think I can even clean, like I knew my home needed a deep clean so that I could breathe better, so that I could keep up with things better. But I was honestly scared to do a deep clean because I already was having so much trouble with my allergies and my asthma gets triggered. And I was like, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and get somebody to clean my home. And so I did, and I was grateful that I did. And it was like you said, I had to just look at my priorities. Like, listen, you know, I work in schools. I don't make a lot of, I'm a student and a teacher. I don't make a lot of money. But you know what? This is my health. Like, I can't breathe. I can't function in this environment. The second time was recently, I had a shoulder injury on my right shoulder, you know, so cleaning was like almost impossible for me. And I again had somebody come in at that time and again was grateful and realized that, yeah, it was really just a matter of me prioritizing where my money was going towards. But I also want to hear some tips from you all as far as what would you respond to that? If you're so somebody who's listening is like, that sounds amazing. Like all those services sound wonderful. Like just thinking about it is like, oh my gosh, that would be so wonderful. Have somebody come in and just take care of this mess, take it off my plate, take it off my shoulders. But I don't have friends that will buy that for me for a gift. I don't have the finances to do that. What are some things you would say? Like if somebody was literally saying that to you right now, what would your response be? What are some tips you could give to enable somebody who feels like they need your services, but they feel like they couldn't afford them?
I would say, well, instead of, because I know that I have packages, and so usually it's cheaper for the first 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And usually 3 hours is minimum, of what we do.
Okay.
But, I'm okay with at least doing 1 hour, or 2 hours, but like showing them, maybe starting with the bedroom and just spending 30 minutes per section, so just showing them. So this is how you fold, this is what you have to do, as long as they're following my lead and I'm showing them. So we might not finish, but in a way I can kind of train them on what to do and how to continue, so that way instead of spending $1,000 something, they just spent like 140, so there's different ways. I'm sure I understand people can't afford, but you'd be surprised with what people can afford, but they think that they can't,
Right.
Because a lot of times you're coming into these homes and like, I don't have money, but then you see a real Louis Vuitton, bag that they have. Okay. And so it's like, you can't choose one not the other. It's just as important as brushing your teeth, taking a bath. It's all health. It's all health related. So when people can distinguish between that, then there's no problems.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
I definitely think, exactly what Lavender said, and just being open to having the conversation, like, not being scared to have the conversation, because again, you can't change what you don't know. You can't budget for what you don't know either. And so I'm sure, a lot of us have consultations that will, get on the phone with you and see what areas you need help in, and then kind of come up with something that's helpful. So Lavender, I think that's really awesome to even, the 1 hour, 2 hour thing, because it just gets you in the door. Because I think sometimes when you get somebody in the door, you're able to, work on some things at least once you got your foot in the door. But I think just more importantly, just being open to having a conversation. Again, you cannot budget. Like I said, you can't budget for something that you don't know. And like we pretty much mentioned, that a lot of stuff is much more affordable than you even think it is, but I will say, in some instances you will have to make a sacrifice, but you have to decide whether or not the sacrifice is for you. So when you say, okay, well, an hour of this means that I won't be able to do this, and it's like, I probably can afford that. And then when you really look at your budget, some people, I can't speak for everybody, but some people actually have more budget, more money available to them if they don't go out and eat, get fast food, all the time. Or just like Garen was saying, some people repurchase clothing because they don't want to wash it. So it's kind of like, imagine how much you really actually save when you budget your time, budget your money, and you're able to see like, wow, and then on top of that, so I do know when stuff is chaotic, you do rebuy things. Like and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but I know in several clients' house, I've seen like the same outfit like twice. The same exact shirt, same exact dress. And I didn't know if like they got it on sale and they just were like, let me get it. Or if they were like, I didn't know I bought it and I had to get it again. I have no idea. But I definitely think that people have more money than they really believe that they do. But there are some sacrifices that they have to make. Like I said, maybe taking a different route or doing something different. I don't know, but there is money if you look for it. And especially now, because we're not doing a lot of traveling, people are saving on gas. And that's not to say, this is not to say anything to people who have lost your job or have lost, loved ones or anything like that. So I don't want to ever sound like I'm being insensitive. So I do want to just say that. But for those of you that are fortunate to still have a job, and even those of you who may still be getting unemployment and benefiting from the extra money that the government has been offering, like, if you really, take into account, you're not driving to your job, you don't have to necessarily buy new clothes because you don't have to go into an office setting or what have you. You're not buying Starbucks every day or Dunkin' Donuts every day because now you're home. Like, there are just some ways, if you just kind of just look on your money and not look at your money and not being fearful of it, because sometimes we're just fearful of having a conversation. So just have the conversation.
That's good. Good.
And
Natalie,
also,
I'm into that too.
I'm sorry.
oh, hold
No,
on,
go
hold
ahead,
on,
Natalie.
hold on. Natalie, can you go first, and then to say we'll go to you.
Sure. I'm with Alana. Like I offer a consultation, but in my consultation, I also like to give them a little bit of homework. Be like, if you can do this ahead of time, then our sessions will go a little quicker. You'll see more results faster. And then depending on the budget, sometimes like Lavender said, I may be able to break it up just because sometimes they only need to see an hour's work and be like, wow, we got so much done. And then they get in the zone, they get excited, they want to do more. And then after that, I do offer maintenance packages too, that I revisit maybe a 4 hours a month or something like that. So that kind of gives them like, oh, she's coming back. I need to keep this, clean and up going. But another point I wanted to touch with dealing with like mental health and stuff, that I did read an instance in which insurance will sometimes cover our services.
Wow.
Because depending on, your diagnosis or whatever, that it will help. So, I mean, I do have something saved somewhere, but I know, I mean, it doesn't hurt to check.
Wow. I would have never even thought of that. I'm really happy that you brought that up. I'm gonna jump on Google after this and try to find out about that. And I will say for anybody listening, we will try to follow up on maybe putting a link or something along with other resources at the end, as this video will be available to watch afterwards. So any resources like that, we'll try to add to that chat later on. But that's amazing. That would be amazing to have insurance. But you know what that really brings out, Natalie, is that right there shows you how much of an effect your household can have on mental health. If insurance companies in some cases will cover that based on how much that affects your mental health, that right there shows you that there is definitely a link between our spaces and our mental health and well-being. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Natalie. I appreciate that. Nasaya, do you still have your thought from earlier?
Yeah, and also like what Natalie was saying about the insurance will cover it. I don't know if the state cover it. I know like for hoarders and stuff, I think it's something where the state covers it. Like certain states cover hoarder houses and stuff. So also that I know that, but that might be a little deeper cleaning or deeper organizing. I'm not sure, but I know for hoarder homes, like you keep getting citations, the state will help you. And what I'm a for-profit business, so I mean, I do community work and stuff, but I'm a for-profit business. So sometimes I tell my clients or tell people, sometimes you got to invest the time into your home or you invest the money. If you don't have the money, then invest the time. And if you don't have the time, then you invest the money. So, we're all for-profit businesses. So sometimes you just gotta, because sometimes, hey, the price is going to take me to clean even your bathroom and your kitchen. You're like, well, hey, I could sit here and I can do something else and make triple that money that I'm paying you if I use my time wisely. So, sometimes you got to invest the time, if not invest the money. And also, like Alana was saying, $5 a day, 20 days, you say $5 and I go to Dunkin' Donuts and I stop to go to, Starbucks. That's $100 saved that you can put towards another service. And when I go to clients' house, a lot of times, I think I posted a video on Instagram like yesterday. I think I picked up out of somebody's house, had to be like a couple $100. It was
wow.
like this big of bottles and bottles and bottles, like 3 bottles and 2 cups worth of nothing but change. And it wasn't pennies, it was like quarters, dimes, and I filled them all up. I think I posted a video on my Instagram, filled them all up and left them. And she was like, if this was all the change you found at my house, it was all that change I found in the carpets, in the couches, under the bed. It was change everywhere. So just imagine how much change that I collected out of her home. And I also think selling some of your stuff, like you don't always have to give it to charity. You can, Facebook Marketplace is popping. That's a hot spot. Take a picture of it, try to sell it on the Facebook Marketplace, even if you don't want to do a yard sale, that's a good way to earn some of your money back.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Those are all some great tips. Shoot, people sitting out a couple $100 they didn't know they had right there in their cups. There's probably a lot of us who have at least at least something, at least $10 in change lying around.
There's that point shortage that we have.
Right, exactly. The coin shortage is sitting in our homes.
Yeah. Lori, I have a question too for everyone. And Lavender and Natalie, I know we kind of know, the issues in professional organizing, but how do you other companies deal with, one person wanting the service? So one person is super excited about it. It might be the wife that's like, yes, I need professional organizing. I need professional cleaning. I need this wash and fold, and then their significant other is like, nah, babe, you could do that on your own. Like, you don't have to pay them to do that. You can do it on your own. How do you deal with that? Because I know how I've dealt, with that, but how do you deal with, everybody in the household not being in agreement of the service? And then, them saying, well, nope, we're not gonna pay nobody to do it, but yet it never gets done.
Well, I can actually speak to that. What happens is normally the people that want the wash and fold is normally the wife. It's either wife or it's the mom with the multiple children. So what happens is if it's the wife, she'll try to service out. The husband might not really be down with it, like, oh, well, he don't got to wash my clothes. And what'll happen is when the presentation comes back, when the wife is able to put the kids' clothes away, her clothes away, and he's like, man, he really did a good job. They really came out good. And then it kind of gets swayed that way. I mean, that's what happens to me. I don't know about anybody else, but it's normally like one of the people, like I said, they'll try to service out. The mate might not, like I said, be pro wash and fold or whatever it is. And then after they see the presentation, after they get an opportunity to see like how things come out, then they're normally like, oh man, you know what, I'll give them a try, I'll give them a play, and then we wind up building a rapport that way. So that's what's happened to me on numerous occasions.
That's great. Thank you, Garen. And I do want to say really quick before others answer that there was somebody who said on here, one of the people watching, women are the powerful force behind most of the work being done. Salute to you all. So thank you. But the reason why I followed Garen's comment with that is because we want to recognize that it's not just women, right? Garen's out there also. Thank you, women. Of course, you're each amazing, but also Garen, and I'm sure there are other men also in these industries. So appreciate all of you and the work that you're doing. Anyone else want to speak to Alana's question?
I can add to that. I know I'm like the argument stopper. So the wives normally say, well, you gonna do the dishes? And he like, all right, hire. It's like stopping arguments. We making happy homes, keeping the wife happy, the husband happy. Nobody got to do it. The kids don't got to do it. Nobody got to do it. We're going to come in and do it for you. So that saves responsibility, stop arguments, stop, chore boards. Sometimes, they still got chores and still got to, but it just lessens the load on the whole household. So once you realize you could just go home and like, dang, wow, it smell good, look good. That's a reliever. You're able to think.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
That actually was a great point with the argument thing, because that definitely does just relinquish, like we said, a chore off someone's back. So like I said, if somebody don't want to do it and the other person's like, well, listen, if you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? Because I'm not going to do it either. So it winds up making things easier in the household. It's like, all right, well, we have one thing less that we got to worry about. So that was actually a great point about I didn't even think about that, but that definitely does happen, where the other two be going back and forth like, well, listen, I'm not going to do this. So I would suggest we go this route. So that was awesome.
Garen, you can use my tip as a marketing strategy. It's no problem.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. So listen, our time is actually starting to wind down. So I want us to be mindful of that. We have just a couple more minutes. This has been such a great conversation. We had a lot of feedback on the Facebook feed of people just sharing that this has been good for them. They're getting some great tips. I'm loving the stuff that we've gotten from each of you. As we're winding down, couple things I want to touch on. So everybody knows now about the great services that you offer. How can they contact you? And I just want to first kind of throw out there, can everybody access your services through your Instagram handle that is on your name?
Yes, Instagram,
Okay.
directly to the website, Facebook. Yeah, it's all there.
Okay, great. So for those watching, as you can see, everybody's name that is underneath their wonderful face. Next to it has also how you can get a hold of them to get these services. Because I don't know about you, but I'm coming away saying, okay, I know I'm gonna reach out to some of these people, some of these ladies and gentlemen, at some point for your services and or to pass on that information to others. Yeah. So Alana, did you want to say something on that?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say, just as a member of MBK Cares, I'm just so grateful for all of you ladies and gentlemen, just for, just kind of responding to the call, because this conversation is definitely necessary. And I hope that everybody watching has gotten something good out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing just to kind of follow back on that, these services are definitely necessary, and they are an investment into your future, an investment into the future you. And there's a professional for that. You do not have to do everything on your own. You really don't. And so I guess I'll just say for me, you can reach me at Redefining Chaos on Instagram, and also Redefining Chaos 215 on IG. My website is being worked on, but you can find me through that. And chaos, the reason why it says Redefining Chaos is because I want to help you redefine your idea of chaos, which means clean homes and organized spaces. So
I love that redefining of that word. Clean.
And I also, just to add, I do just like Lavender and Natalie were mentioning, just about organizing, I definitely offer packages as well too. And so just, call me, check my IG, just for things. That the IG is like the new business card, your interactive business card now. So you can check me out on there, check out my work. Feel free to contact me for a free discovery call consultation, just to kind of see if this is something that'll be a great match. And I'm in Philadelphia area, serving anywhere I can drive. So.
Great. Thank you. And I do want to highlight something that you just threw out there really quickly a second ago. Alana is a board member of MBK Cares. So for those watching, whether for the first time or having watched many times, you all know that MBK Cares does some great work all over the city in various ways in regards to mental health and well-being. And so, and Alana is on the board. So thank you, Alana, for that great work that you're doing, aside from your organizing services that you offer. Anyone else want to give anything that you want to toss out there as far as last things, ways that people can contact you?
I wanted to say something. So I know that we're all in different locations. I mean, I'm located in Alexander, Virginia, but we still have connections. So if someone sees one of us that they like, and they're not in my state or they're not in Elena's state, we can be like, oh, so we know this person in New Jersey, or we know this person in Georgia, like that. So because we're all kind of connected in a group. So and it's always nice to get like a referral, from someone that you trust.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you. And I'm glad you also brought that up, Lavender, that, I myself was not even aware who's where, right? So is there anyone else on here that you are in a different location other than Philly, and you'd like to put that out there so that people know your actual location?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry again.
No, go ahead.
I service Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and Jersey. I do all the way up to North Jersey. But I always like this saying, the happy wife, happy life. So my husband got me a shirt years ago with that. But what I like, my tagline for my business is getting your life in order to get on with your life. Because sometimes stress and clutter and stuff like that hold everybody back, that they can't enjoy, their life. They can't enjoy their life with their children, to do the things they love to do. So that's a little plug for us, for us, what we do is to help them move on with theirs.
That's great. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you.
And this is Mitchie cleaning Nasaya Henderson. I service the tri-state area and the DMV area. So I do service DC, Maryland, Virginia, Philly, Delaware, New Jersey. So I cover a big territory.
Okay, great. Great, thank you. Thank you so much. This has been just really great. And I want to encourage also everybody who's on the panel. I know that it's hard to be on the panel and also following the Facebook feed. Some people may want to have some answers they want that you guys can throw some stuff in there afterwards as well. And to everyone watching, know that this will be available later on too. As we are wrapping up, I want to also just throw out there a couple of announcements from Isan Hines, the founding director of MBK Cares. And that's a reminder that the AFSP Out of Darkness experience is this coming Sunday, October 4th. And if you want to RSVP for that, that's at afsp.org. And that's a suicide prevention organization that MBK Cares partners with. As you may or may not know, that's one of the things that MBK Cares focuses on is suicide prevention. Also, MBK Cares will be partnering with State Representative Joanna McClinton for a shredding event on Saturday, October 24th at 10 a.m. at 59th and Baltimore Avenue in the KIPP School parking lot. And again, we'll put these details as well in the comments later on if anybody didn't get that information. I appreciate each of you so much and the services that you offer and the wisdom that you offer today. We're coming away with so many different tips. I appreciate your hearts, each of you, the passion that you have for what you do. It's truly a beautiful, beautiful thing. You're each amazing. I know that just listening to you for this hour and a half, you're each just amazing. And like I said, I would welcome any of you into my space and trust you with my with my home and with my stuff. And so thank you so much. Alana, do you have any wrapping up things that you would like to say?
Just to piggyback off of that the shredding event, listen, if you all are watching, make sure you do that because shredding costs. So if you want to talk about saving some money, grab your papers that you had an opportunity, even if you didn't do it yet, start, wrapping up your papers because they take a lot of it. Usually these will cost like $15 a box. So just make sure that you share that information. Once a flyer gets created, we'll make sure that you have it, but make sure that you do that. Like that is another way. The papers, we don't need half of the papers that we have, so it's a good thing to get rid of them. But just thank you all again just for watching, and thank you all again just for joining. You all could have been doing something else this evening, but I am so grateful to have you all here. You all are amazing in what you do, and being as though COVID happened and we're still important and vital, that goes to show you our services are necessary. So keep up the great and amazing work, everybody. And thank you so much, Lori. You've been an amazing moderator this evening. Thank you so much.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to step in tonight and just join such an amazing group of people. So that's it. Thank you all. Everyone watching, please reach out to these wonderful ladies and gentlemen with their services. And you all have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.